What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with this most recent physique update from Behrouz Tabani. So his coach Milos Sarcev said that Behrouz Tabani probably has the best delts in the current bodybuilding at the moment. So Nick Walker and Michael Krizo, they also have some of the best delts in the men's open bodybuilding right now. And nobody in the past or the present comes even close to how the shoulders of the legend Kevin Levrone looked back in his prime. So those full-blown chest and delts and the triceps that made Kevin's hand collapsed, probably the greatest variation of the most muscular shot across all the bodybuilding history. Now coming back to Behrouz Tabani, there hasn't been any update regarding his visa status for this upcoming Mr. Olympia. So they need another 3 more weeks to go through more background checks. And the situation of Behrouz Tabani, that I must say isn't looking very promising. Still, massive respect for this Iranian phenomena on continuing with his prep, with only a glimmer of hope that things might change and he might end up getting his visa even at the last minute. So if Behrouz Tabani doesn't get to this year's Olympia stage, he should not miss the opportunity to compete in that post-Olympia tour, especially in Prague Pro, where there is a possibility we might see some very big names, and some are even already confirmed, like Michael Krizo and Keone Pearson. So his prep for the Olympia last year, that went to total waste, as he decided not to do any show in the post-Olympia tour. So the man is investing all his time and money into this prep. So it's better to make that prep worth it, and get a few more pro wins, and also get some money. But let's just hope for the best, that both him and Hadi Choopan, they make it to this year's Olympia stage. Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am.
We don't need to worry about anything. We only have one goal and one goal only, which has been the biggest feedback we've got from judges, that we need to sort out this prep. And once we have that right now and being able to achieve that and seeing what the results that's coming from that, it makes me very confident, and it makes me feel I'm enjoying this prep more than I've enjoyed any prep I've ever been through, man.
Next up, we have an update from Samson Dauda, the only guy in the men's open Olympia this year whose fate is in his own hands, who isn't dependent on any other guy, any other athlete to come in off. The man has got enough size, he has an awesome shape, one of the best aesthetics in the entire men's open right now, and if he comes in at his all-time best in terms of conditioning and detail, while at the same time he brings that same fullness, he's most probably gonna win the second Olympia title, and there is a mutual consensus on that. So he has blocked all the noise, and the man has been just focused on putting in the maximum amount of effort and energy in the gym. So this is a unique prep for Samson Dauda, because he has always been one of those guys who always puts out all those weekly updates. But this year has been totally different. That 6 weeks out guest posing, that was the last real update that we saw from him. And that is probably the last one that we're gonna see him this year from him. And all of the assessments and how his physique is gonna look like on this year's Olympia stage, they are gonna be made based on that. Now, although Samson Dauda did look very flat and kind of a bit downsized at this past guest posing, but everybody out there who has an eye for bodybuilding, they all agreed that Samson is well on his way to present the most shredded and the most ripped version come Olympia this year. Now the main concern that has been, how much size is he gonna lose? Well, at this point we do not know, because Samson Dauda has never pushed this hard to chase that extra bit of conditioning. But him losing to Derek at this year's Arnold, while being 50 pounds heavier, that simply meant one thing, that size alone, that isn't gonna help him retain that Olympia title this year. And that isn't what the judges wanna see on him. Now Samson is gonna really solidify himself and his legacy as a strong Olympia champion if he's able to repeat in 4 weeks' time. So the skin is looking very thin. The detail is also coming in slowly and nicely. So this is gonna be a very good and a very interesting look from Samson Dauda. So with Keone doing the upcoming Prog Pro in the men's open division, he's gonna steal all the limelight from Michael Krizo at this show, and Krizo once again finds himself kind of in deep trouble because that was the show Krizo was aiming to win to secure his Olympia spot for next year. But we all know Keone is being talked about as the next Open Olympia contender. So technically speaking, there is just no comparison between him and Michael Krizo. But that isn't gonna demotivate Michael Krizo from putting in all the work, working harder than ever before, and bring his all-time best to this upcoming Prog Pro stage, because that is the only thing that is in his own hands. So this guy loves training and dieting and competing more than winning. So he could have stayed in the IFBB Elite and he could have retired undefeated in that league. But he chose to face some real challenge in the Pro League, and here the man is now, looking pretty damn good, a little less than 6 weeks out from this year's Prog Pro. Now with a guy like Keone in the mix, Krizo has to do something about the waistline. Otherwise Keone is just gonna expose the hell out of him in all those front shots. I believe Krizo is one of those bodybuilders who look like a Mr. Olympia walking around in a tank top in the gym, especially hitting that most muscular shot. But the guy has too many weaknesses before he gets to hit that most muscular shot on the stage. Now I'm gonna say this again. It was a very big mistake by him skipping shows like Cali Pro and Emperor Classic Spin this year. I mean, he did not have a big off season afterwards, since he's gonna be stepping on the stage just 2 weeks after the Olympia anyway, and he's probably gonna have to find another show to qualify for the Olympia too. That being said, with Keone being 5'5" and Krizo a little over 6 feet, that comparison will be very interesting. Next up, we have an update from the Egyptian tank, Hassan Mustafa. So he did not directly confirm what his next show is gonna be, but this is a very clear-cut hint, which means he's either gonna jump into this upcoming France Pro or maybe a show in the post-Olympia tour. So that right there is a lot of detail on his quads at the moment, and that is indicative that he's very close to stepping back on the bodybuilding stage. So the man is among one of the most muscular bodybuilders in the entire pro league at the moment. And if he gets truly peeled, he becomes very dangerous. Although it's kind of concerning to see how his waist is looking even wider this year. Now there is nothing he can do about that. But with that unbelievable mass that Hassan always brings, he can come in dry and shredded and just outmuscle everyone. Now he has won the shows before with that same structure, although the competition now, compared to back in 2023, that is way harder and way more deeper. So a guy who is built like Hassan Mustafa, he has only one solid option. Try to get as big as he possibly can and just simply freak the hell out of everyone. And maybe that was the reason he went up to 310 pounds during this past off season, holding a very decent body composition. So maybe a very expert trainer like Chris Cormier, he can help him develop those lats, because that is something that can make a massive difference in the overall flow of his physique, despite having a wide waistline. Now, I'm not saying that he can be top 10 at the Olympia now or in the future. Even qualifying for the Olympia, that will be very difficult just by looking at all the competitors and all the competitions that we have seen throughout this year. There are guys out there who are just as muscular as Hassan Mustafa, but they have far prettier and far more aesthetic shape than Hassan. But that being said, we haven't seen the best of Hassan just yet. He came in very peeled and ripped to the bone back in 2022 when he was working with AJ Sims, but he also lost a lot of size during that process. Now I have no idea why he parted ways with Chad Nichols, who also did an awesome job with him, especially back in 2023. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.